The term detached youth work became established in the early 1970s. Up until then, previous work with young people within communities, and particularly street-based, was an ad hoc and inconsistent affair. The coming together of youth practitioners across the country, who were using this similar approach to connect with young people, precipitated the birth of the very first national conferences in detached youth work, hosted at Keele University in Staffordshire. This initiative was initiated and coordinated through Sporting Community's current founders, the then Youth Charity Trustees for Hanley Youth Project in Stoke-on-Trent. Over a period of 9 consecutive years, the network of detached youth work grew rapidly, developing a collective body of practitioners in the field, all across the nation. This network allowed for the sharing of good practice, but also exploring the philosophical nature of work with young people on the streets with invisible boundaries or rules, other than humanity itself, to guide the work. The reason for working with young people within the community environment, either within a formal park setting or the built-up community, is because young people are often present. They choose where they want to be, and who they want to be with. It's not always the worn-out cliché that there is nowhere for them to go. So why is this the case? Often young people decide through their own volition that what has been provided by adults is often driven by the needs of others, and not their own. They have intellectually arrived at this position, based on their own instincts and intuition. For example, on the surface, youth clubs have traditionally provided a safe haven, warm, secure and friendly place where young people can gather to access recreational needs and services. In more recent years, these resources have dwindled through austerity cuts, as we know. However, often even at their height, youth clubs were perceived by young people as having a particular agenda, or a certain steered focus. This could be either religious, political, or simply that the youth club ethos was too connected to education themes. It is this combination of adult-led elements and much more, which often act as wholesale deterrent for young people. So, it is no surprise that young people often choose their own space, which they have control of their agenda and have a self-managed consent of each other. The role of the detached youth worker is to be also present in this space, but welcomed in on the consent of these young people, and if opportunity allows, begin to forge connections through dialogue. The detached youth worker's biggest asset is the ability to listen, and the immediate benefits for the young person is to be truly heard. The skill of the detached youth worker is to provide opportunities for a young person to be able to communicate back, and it is within the content of the discussion, which is often nuanced, information cues begin to flourish and needs begin to be revealed. In this age of accountability, particularly surrounding public finance, the case for a service that on the surface has no tangible outcomes in the short term will immediately fail to meet any commissioner's expectations and is difficult to justify. However, the argument needs to be had, and won, as there is a growing need out there within the community, and is gathering pace. The rise in antisocial behavior, cross-county line gang culture, and child sexual exploitation is happening within these arenas, and is becoming prevalent in many cities and rural areas. So there needs to be a serious rethink about what outcomes look like from a commissioning perspective, and if there is any real need for targets or timescale given the circumstances and consequences of inaction. Community reassurance is Sporting Community's evolved model of detached youth work, which aims to address these growing concerns and with much more nuanced approaches. By being independent and having a youth-focused approach, but also appreciating the statutory authority's requirements, provides a happy middle ground, whereby addressing the challenging and toxic choices young people are sometimes drawn to, without compromising the fragile and delicate nature of street-based youth development work. The approach does not begin and end with the young people, as we know. Community reassurance also aims to connect with a wider resident audience, to make the community fully engaged in the youth agenda. By having a broader community development ethos, everyone then has a stake in the locality where they live. Fostering a collective responsibility for each other is an attitude that we believe will bring about more engaged neighborhoods, and hopefully greater resilience and self-determinism. Our successful Derbyshire and Staffordshire piloted community reassurance program provides empirical evidence that the cost-benefit to the community and the public purse dramatically outweighs more costly and targeted statutory programs. The approach significantly reduces the need to waste police time on nuisance calls related to youths, and provides a less confrontational intervention, de-escalating tensions at the source. As a society, we need to not observe from the sidelines, but to reach into our youth's agenda as they need to be seen and heard as part of their own community, and not on the fringes where they are often exposed to exploitation of some kind. It is in all our interests as members of our community to resist the need to alienate and demonize the youth of today. Rather provide a more positive intervention, such as community reassurance, which delivers a positive pathway out of an otherwise binary choice of antisocial behavior and criminality.